Hello, hello everyone, and welcome to today's speed gaming match of the Link to the Past Randomizer tournament. I am Apathy Duck, and I'm joined today by Arior. How's it going?
Yo, I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm going all right. I'm hanging in there. Today's match is the second match of this round versus shadyforce versus neatorific. Shadyforce took the first game, and Nito decided to not make any changes, so this is still going to be a standard 7-7 match. So it's going to just no changes, just like standard type of random that we're used to seeing. You have to defeat or get 7 crystals from 7 dungeons, go beat Aga 2, and then kill Ganon. Is there anything you're looking for in particular in this match, Ari?
I think it's pretty exciting. Shady Force was the 4th seed going into groups, and Neatorific was the 2nd seed. So it's already surprising that Neatorific is in the losers bracket and that he's like basically looking for a win or to drop out of the tournament right now. So it's going to be especially rough for him. We'll see if gameplay changes depending on this current situation. Like, see if he makes any rash routing decisions or just keeps doing whatever he's doing.
Yeah, the top 128 this year seems to be it's really consistent all across the board. Really, anyone can defeat anyone in this, and just the games are randomized, and even best of 3 is just not a very big sample size. So like upsets are going to happen. Exciting. Anyone can win any match. I don't really think either player here is necessarily a favorite. I know Shady does have some NMG and even low percent experience. I know he would run low percent when we were doing the weeklies. And Nito has vehemently told me that he will never run NMG. So, and I did talk to him a little bit before this match. He wanted to let everyone know that he hasn't practiced this game in a year. So I'm doing my due diligence and letting everyone know about that. But I'm going to provide him no quarter based on this.
All right, seems good. Seems good.
Yeah, Nito is on Team Combo Rando, so I feel like I have to pull for him a little bit, even though I'm friends with shadyforce too. I like him, but Team Combo is doing rough in this tournament so far.
Yeah, I almost wanted to ask how you would approach the seed when being in an elimination game, but I thought it would be too soon.
Yeah. Have everything come up your way and still lose is how I would do it.
Yeah, it can be a rough game. It can be a rough game, but
yeah, just I mean, even just small things can make a difference. I mean, we were going over in my match, and just there wasn't one big thing. It was just I did like a couple extra checks, and that was pretty much it. So especially between these two guys who are similar skill level, I would say it can come down to just very, very tiny things.
Yeah, for sure. It can just be one extra check that adds 30 seconds or a minute, and then if the execution difference isn't big enough, that can just be the entire decider.
Looks like we're getting going here. Nito and Shady both starting in Link's house. Not going to get anything right there, so probably just going to keep your standard openings. Sometimes if you find something in Link's house, that'll cause you to change your routing at a very early map chat. So we have Eastern Palace Pendant, and it looks like Desert Palace is a 5-6.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious as to why you both go for the Uncle Start, especially considering the recent change where there's like an extra few seconds on the save and quit menu. The Uncle Start already is kind of slow compared to other routes, even though it's a bit safer, but those extra few seconds do add up every save and quit.
Yeah, it may be. I tend to do this start too. I like the tree pulls early. Was one thing. It may be a little holdover here for Nito from combo because you start with a tier 3 tree pull, so you can actually get 2 tree pulls going this way relatively early because you only have to kill 1 enemy to get the second one. So it might be a holdover from that.
Oh, that makes sense, yeah.
So how do you like open? Because this is what I do every time because I'm a baby and I don't know any better.
All right, so my standard opening would be to go Sank, then check Lumberjack, check all the Lost Wood checks, and then depending on what I get, depending on whether I get bombs or not, I'll either go to South Shore and check that, or go immediately to Cat Creek via the south route in order to get some bombs and then clear it out. But I want to do some overall checks before going to Cat Creek in case I find food or bomb, and then be able to clear Cat Creek efficiently.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's always hard. Like when you start a seed, you have zero knowledge of what's going to happen. Like it's really hard to say that like one route over another is like none of them really going to come ahead over every single situation. So you're looking for small advantages, and generally, unless it's a very jet seed, things are not going to be won or lost in these first couple minutes here.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, you can definitely see it, like, if the seeds converge to a way that it's like a last location move pearl or an Aghanim seed or something like that, you can see, like, the small differences add up, and you can see someone enter Aghanim's tower at, like, a minute before the other. But the main difference is definitely going to be in the Dark World routing, so these are all the very general checks, of course, and
Yeah,
we'll see in what order people do things.
Except for maybe some like the one-off checks like a Gina or Ice Red K's, most of these light roll checks will be done before the end of the game. Very rarely you're going to skip something like Mini Moldorm. But my main thought is, you know, try to get like some like the big ones like Hecrico and that kind of stuff, and then like some of those later ones can possibly be comboed in a little bit better. Like if you pick up a Moon Pearl or something, you can do a fake flipper, or even just get flippers. So I think that's a lot where my routing comes in from. Is I want to try to do some of those checks more efficiently if I get some good items.
Yeah, so the first thing that pops up to me is that neatorific already has a couple of bombs due to some extra enemy kills. She might have some bad luck and not get any bombs here on Blind's Hut, and that will cause him to have to come back to the back later. Or
entering the very beginning of the game is you're looking for bombs or you're looking for money, more or less to buy bombs, and you just need money for a couple of checks as well. So that's why you see some players, you know, looking at the tree poles, the bush crabs can potentially be a source of money or bombs, and just straight up enemy kills. V31 has gone to vanilla prize packs, where the prize packs are standardized, but they're shuffled between where they would normally be in a normal game. So like the guaranteed bomb pack is one that runners really look for early. If it's on like the green guard or something, that can be really useful.
Do have the fire rod and a bottle at first, but no bombs, so Shady's going to lose some time by having to buy bombs and then come back to clear out these last two locations as well.
Yeah, either clear them out or potentially just leave them for late. This is a location you can come back to fairly easily from the initial Dark World checks, because there's a Dark World portal right north of.
It's a pretty relevant one too, being the power gloves in Blind's Hut.
Oh yeah, so if Shady decides to potentially put that off, that's going to be an issue.
Plenty of money in order to buy bombs and buy the items from the bottle vendor though, so that's not all too bad. It's just a small time loss at this point.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be doing just that. It'd be fairly aggressive to just try to skip out on the small time save and walking back up here at this point.
Yeah, we'll see if he also makes the whole trek back to library and race game. He might put that off until a second clear or something. But yeah, considering not much has been found yet, it seems pretty risky to put that off at this point.
Yeah, it's another reason why I tend not to delay Kakariko too much, because it just there's so many stuff here. It gives you like an idea of what the seed's going to feel like. If you find nothing here, you know there's got to be something somewhere. I mean, there always has to be, but I just kind of want to get this out of the way, like just kind of know what the seed's going to be before moving on.
Yeah, that makes sense. Again, I like being able to clear it efficiently by trying to find a bottle or a flute early, so I don't have to come back at some point. Especially with the added saving quit, it can add up so much.
Yeah, that saving
so
quit.
Far,
sorry, go ahead. That saving quit really changes a lot of stuff in this. Just even little things like saving quitting from the fortune teller's bomb shop used to be faster with a save and quit. Now it's going to be slower. I mean, not it's not swinging that much, but just like little things like that, you really have to pay attention to.
Yeah, or forgetting to mirror before saving quitting after killing Aghanim or something. Like those things hurt just a little bit extra.
Yeah.
So those are things to look out for as the race progresses. See how people approach the. There we go. Okay,
yeah,
these points.
Yeah, that's a little aggressive. We'll see if it's gonna pay off for him. Even just having the knowledge of, well, that's a sword, so that knowledge is good to have. it's completely possible that Shady is just going to completely miss that sword, depending on how this seed plays out.
Yeah, those are interesting things that are going on already. So neatorific is going for the blind trace game check. Considering the items we found, it's not too crazy. If there's a key back here in escape, we'll see if Shady goes to the middle chest here. It is in logic with the fire rod.
Yeah, but I don't think you'd have enough magic because you have to kill the key rat too, and especially coming from that right side, sometimes it's hard to tell which one has the key. And like just the vanilla game, you know who has it just because you're so used to all the different patterns, but it can get a little bit more jumbled up coming the other way. And sometimes you think it's the wrong one, and he would only have one shot plus one shot to even make it visible.
Yeah. I also forgot that the key was in the sanctuary chest, so we already had it to begin with. But yeah, he could have tried to do it together with the green goo that we found in Caprico, but it seems like
oh, that's true. We do have one of those.
A bit of a valid thing to waste so early on in the seed.
Yeah, if you're you're comfortable with your execution and everything, I think it can be pretty smart to use some of these potions relatively early. Starting off, you start with nothing. You start with no magics, no arrows, no bombs. Using a potion early just to save you, just 10-15 seconds even. Like I think that's a smart play. So I wouldn't mind that. Green potions really is probably only going to bail you out, and maybe like Ice Palace later on.
Yeah.
So I don't mind seeing early potion usage too much. The only other thing you potentially ever thinking about is the potion glitch in pod. It's always nice to have one for there.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. That's a really good point. Especially if you don't really have any early movement things to get to the witch's hut. It's pretty nice to be able to find to use something like that early.
Yeah, Shady picking up that full magic because his only means of defense right now is that fire rod. So
bombs are a pretty valuable commodity at this point.
Yeah, finding more weapons that require magic. So
all right.
Bomb magic.
Pretty meager.
Bomb management is one thing I'll be looking at from on Nito's side. On the combo, we're still on 29, so we have those bomb upgrades. So hopefully he remembers to pay attention to that bomb count because it can bite you if you're not used to it.
Yeah, I think the main problem with bombs is usually in Ice Palace, and luckily we still have the Great Fairy, the light world version of that. So maybe he remembers to pick them up there if he realizes, and if he feels he needs more. But until then, we'll keep a close eye on that.
Yeah, I don't suspect he's going to buy a capacity. Just if he gets into a situation where he's got less bombs than he realized. But he is a very seasoned random runner, so I suspect not too much issues on that front.
Alright, so no fake flippers from Shady. That makes sense because the only real relevant thing that he can get at this point is the hobo. And that's quite of a long trek.
Yeah, the hobo, and he could get the scout on the ledge. The value of early fate flippers has to me changed a bit with the new Ancilla fake flipper deletion. Before, if you're not going to find flippers, you had to come all the way down here to fake flipper up. And then there was something like if you had the mirror and you wanted to come out with catfish, you couldn't do that at all unless you had the flippers. Now that you can do the Ancilla glitches, it makes a little sense to play this maybe a little less aggressively early and skip a little bit more often because you have more opportunities to do it later.
Yeah, pretty good point. Like as soon as you find the bow or the cane, you should be able to already.
Yeah, there's so many ways of doing it. You can, by the time you find like the mirror or something, you're almost guaranteed to be able to do it. The only one that's a little tricky is potentially the fake flipper to get the ledge item. There's less combinations that work with that because it needs to persist longer for you to jump down and it still be all the Ancilla be on screen.
Right, yeah, that makes sense. Like I'm not too well known on all these different variations of the Ancilla fake flippers, but I really just know of the bow bombs.
All you need to know now is if you see red boomerang and you already have blue, you still want to pick it up.
Alright, well.
Unless you have flippers, then screw it.
That does make me sad, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I know. It's such a terrible boomerang.
So Nito did go for the hobo check right here. We'll see if he continues to check Sora's Ledge afterwards as well. Alright, just some more bombs. And he's saving quits. Okay.
Yeah, the hobo check isn't that bad there because again the hobo is kind of out of its way no matter what. So I don't mind that one doing that one off there. It's going to take a while no matter how you do it. And like I said, you can always come back using the new techniques later.
Okay. Shady also not going for the dark cross chest. So even though that's in logic, that might be isolated for quite a bit.
Yeah, it's looking like it may be in Eastern Palace. Eastern Palace was a pendant. Do you have any thoughts on doing Eastern Palace early, whether it's a pendant or a crystal? Like, do you like putting off as late as possible, or if it's like a pendant, maybe coming early?
If it's a pendant, I usually come relatively early, but I would leave it for until after escape or something. I like doing Sahasra a bit earlier and then just coming back for Eastern later. I don't really mind the time loss at that point. The hook shot in Sahasra's hut there is pretty interesting. We can sequence break up to Death Mountain with that and just get a big clear going.
Yeah, with this item layout, what I would be thinking is that, okay, probably Lamp is like in Eastern Palace and it wants me to go up to Death Mountain. So I'd be pretty okay with sequence breaking here and wanting the Eastern Palace dip. These runners don't need the Lamp. They already have a fire source. Even if it's Agate Tower required at this point, they'll have, the Fire Rod. It's okay to get through it with Fire Rod. So if you really suspect that you know where the lamp is, it's a pretty smart play to, in my opinion, just to go ahead and skip it if you're not worried about needing it. But it looks like we're getting our answer because Shady will be going to Eastern Palace while Nito is making the play I was talking about.
Yeah, I don't mind it from either side. I think both plays are defensible. Of course, Eastern is a little bit more conservative. I think if he does Eastern, he should have also done Dark Cross, but that might be on the extreme end.
Yeah, I think with Dark Cross, it was just, with what he had at the moment, it was going to be a little bit much. Just with the Fire Rod as a weapon, not having a lot of magic. It's only one location. I think it's pretty thin. You may want to be, conserving some of what little equipment you do have at the moment. If he had a sword, then I would tend to agree with you.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That without a sword, it's a lot more dangerous. I would expect most people to, at this point, know most of the dark rooms even without a sword, but they might be expecting a little bit.
Well, that one's the rat specifically, right? How are you going to kill the rat? Oh, wow. Okay.
Alright.
Unsurprisingly, I was wrong in Rando about what the seed wants to do. It's not Lamp well, it could still be Lamp in here, but it's also the hammer, so Nito is absolutely going to have to come here. Unless Mitts are also somewhere and he can come back with bow or something crazy later, but that seems fairly unlikely. So this gives Shady, I think, a little bit of an early lead. It's still going to depend on how the rest of the seed plays out, but he's going to definitely be happy to have that hammer over his opponent right now.
Yeah, I think the only really big thing that is going to change this up is if Mitts are on Death Mountain, because otherwise it's probably going to be Darkbolt Axis with the hammer.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the hammer also doesn't really unlock that much yet without the Moon Pearl, right? So Shady is going to have to find the powder Neatorific has at this point, and then unlock.
Well, it does let him get to Hera.
Yeah,
Hera
but that's not in logic yet. That's the point.
Oh, right, it's not. You can't get up to Death Mountain. True. Which does mean they are missing something. They're either missing the... Well, we haven't found anything on Death Mountain. Oh, jeez.
Okay, well, there we have it.
I'm going to start writing my apology letter to Nito right now. Sorry for everything I've done to you.
So, I mean, he's not in the woods yet. He still needs to find Moon Pearl. So until he finds Moon Pearl, he's still, stuck in this light world, right?
Yeah,
here.
but Moon Pearl's not in Eastern. There's the flippers. So
All right.
Probably Moon Pearl now on Zora, I would guess. But then where's this lamp and/or flute, which is the interesting question.
I'm assuming it's either on Magic Bat or something related to that.
Oh, right, they do have powder, right? And I think Agina is. I don't think Nito went to Agina, so it could possibly be over here.
Yeah, definitely. But this is a very wide open seat from the get-go already. Like 17 minutes in, and we have a lot of progression.
Yeah, a lot of progression. Seeds like this, what happens is you finally get your Dark World access, and all of Dark World is open. So it becomes pretty coin flip of like where you end up going. So like, I think with Nito missing that hammer, and then when he finds his pearl, he's going to, go, oh look, this seed wanted me to get Mitz to go to Dark World. Okay, that makes sense. And he's not going to be thinking hammer and Eastern at all.
Now, if anything, he's going to be thinking, okay, sure, my Death Mountain access is in there. And he'll probably be right, but...
Yeah, I mean, that's how I was reading it. Sometimes seeds throw these curveballs at you like this, and it can be, really hard to deal with them.
So...
Oh, the short hook. Very nice. Shoutouts to Green Guard's vision cones.
So yeah, we'll see how much the sequence break is going to be the difference maker, because it can still save neatorific some time rather than cost him anything.
It could. It depends on how buried this Moon Pearl is. And if it's in a really bad spot, he may end up going to Eastern, looking for the Moon Pearl, and then finding hammer, and probably being confused.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, if Moon Pearl's here, it's... Well, I guess Moon Pearl here would make sense, because we're just missing our assessor item.
Well, it could be on Zora, because we do have the gloves early. And the gloves are Zora access already.
Right, that's sure. Oh, I saw red, and I thought it might be the lamp. just $20.
But yeah, if the flipper checks don't lead to anything, then he'll probably be sent to either Agina or... Oh, Shady doesn't even check the library. That is...
Yeah, Shady still... Yeah, that's... And I guess he's thinking Magic back right now, and... Oh, boy.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Alright.
So Nito is going to be sent on what may be a Wild Goose Chase. I still feel like it's likely the Moon Pearl's behind whatever chain he's doing, and all he's missing is his Death Mountain access.
Which might be right here, yeah.
Yep, okay, that makes sense.
Alright, okay, so that's pretty good for Nito. That also means that Death Mountain access is somewhere in the Dark World, probably. So what's going to happen now is that Shady is going to delay his Death Mountain for as long as possible until he finds his mitts, but they are on Death Mountain, so he's going to not have the mitts for a while.
Yeah, I don't think that's too bad. If you're thinking about a delayed Death Mountain when you have Dark World, at some point you sort of clear out the first big chunk of Dark World, and then you go, well, mitts. There's a good chance mitts are on Death Mountain, so I can still do this efficiently. It becomes a pretty reasonable play to make. And if nothing else, just Death Mountain's got a bunch of stuff. You kind of have to go up there at some point. So,
I think it's a lot better to go there early if you already have the hookshot anyway, because it's a lot more dangerous if you go there. Oh well, you have to lock now, so
yeah. So we're in logic.
To go there in the first place. Yeah.
Yeah. So Nito is technically correct that... Well, no, Nito's the mitts are actually behind Dark World access, but in a way he's not thinking about. So it's going to throw him for a little bit of a loop, I think.
Yeah. Good. Early Easter action here is interesting.
Yeah, if he finds anything in here, it's a lot later in the seed than it's supposed to be. Technically in logic, it's just that the game would expect you to go up to Death Mountain, then come back down here, get your book, and do all this stuff.
Well, technically the book was in Logic ever since we found the original.
That's true. I always forget about the Zora.
Yeah, it's the early pyramid check, and I guess he goes to Catfish rather than Pod at this point, but that's still pretty interesting.
Yeah, pyramid is always a spot that I have trouble routing in unless if I have a fairly easy 5-6. Like I'm never sure when to do it. Like half the time I'm like, well, I can kind of combo with Catfish, but then I like comboing Catfish with like a North Dark Hyrule check, and then maybe doing the Flipper checks if I never did them before. So pyramid can burn me. So it's one of those spots that you can just be like, if it is something that can burn you, it's a little slow. Just go ahead and do it, and don't worry about it. You know, ease of mind in rando can really help you out sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
Pyramid's also one of those spots that it's not going to lose you the game. Well, it's not going to win you the game, but it might lose you the game if you don't do it. So.
All right, so the double map check. Okay, so green on Thieves, and then a 5-6 crystal in Skullwood. So depending on, so we do have Lamo access already in Desert. So Neatorific could technically already get to Pyramid Ferry as soon as he finds his Darkhold access, which could be a play. Like as soon as he map checks, he might be able to figure that out and try to write it in that way.
Yeah, I expect him to finish off Lamo here. He's got the sword, he's got the fire rod. I guess it's at some point depends on when he comes back to Magic Bat. And honestly, I think that Moon Pearl location may save Nito in this seed because wouldn't be all that surprising to do Eastern before doing Magic Bat. So that might bail him out because there's only one. Well, I guess there's two now. No, they had Secure early. Excuse me.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so Shady is going for an earlier Death Mountain check than I thought he would. But that's gonna work out for him. He's gonna get a nice Village of Outcast access already.
Yeah, it could. I mean, Thieves Town. A lot of players would like to open up with Thieves Town, especially when it's a crystal. With it being a pendant here, this makes some sense, I think. Like you said, it is going to work out for him. He's going to get his mitts. Going to be able to. He's already, the things you're looking for Death Mountain are, mitts, hook shot, so you can pretty much full clear it. Boots if you can hover. One of the big things you try to do in these seeds is these climbs take. It's like 90 seconds or something to get up here from the left side over to like the right side. So you're really trying to minimize your trips up here. If you come up here every time there's a new check, you can come up here 5-6 times in a seed, and that really adds up quickly. That's 6 minutes over an opponent who can do it in one shot.
So it's great because Shady is going to be able to do everything aside from Ether Talent and Turok. It's going to be like a couple of trips up and down, but he can do Paradox Cave now, then go to Hera, then go down, start Super Bunny Cave, do Hookshot Cave, and then go to the west and then do Spy Cave as well, together with, because he has the Hammer and Burna, so that's going to be a great sequence for him.
The routing on when you don't have Mirror, if you can also have dark access, can be a little tricky. Something to fully clear everything, you'd have to go over to Hera, and then you'd have to come back to Spiral Cave and jump down, and then you can come back up in Dark Rolled. With the Mirror, it makes it a lot easier to full clear. But like here, like he may be thinking like, well, I'm just gonna skip Spiral Cave because it's gonna be a little bit too long to check that off.
It's not going to be too bad though if he's going to do it after Hera.
That's true. Hera is.
He's going to have to do that anyway.
Yeah, but it looks like, Shady, unless there's going to be progression in Turtle Rock, Shady's probably going to make the minimum amount of trips up Death Mountain in this seed, unless mitts hide literally nothing, and you could have just done this in one shot and got your mitts. That was your go mode. But this is going to be fairly efficient for Shady. It's going to be a little bit of an advantage for him going forward. Meanwhile, Nito is still lost in the light world. Just doing escape now. So hopefully he gets over to Eastern before he gets over to Magic Bat. Otherwise, I think this might end poorly.
Well, he has to do Eastern in order to get to Magic Bat. That's why the Moon Pro location is so good for him.
Right. Why do I lose these all the time, Ari? I don't understand. I played so much NMG and I got good. I don't get it.
You're certainly trying.
I am certainly trying. Thank you. That is a compliment, I think. I'm not sure.
I'm trying to be as reassuring as I can.
Taking a Death Warp. What could be good. The best case scenario for Nito right now is Darkross is something important, like the Ice Rod. Well, I guess
It could be the
flute. I don't know. Flute. Let's say flute.
Could also be the medallion from Mire or something. But
yeah, there's a bunch of stuff.
Like if it's Boots or Mirror, then he's going to be able to save a lot of time on all the overworld clears. This snake hallway is the thing I dread most when doing this without lamp and sword.
Yeah, those. I don't understand it in the dark. Like, there's so many times I just like spin and it's like, okay, I got all of them all right, and there's just more. And I spin and I'm like, well, there's no snake here, and I get hit. I'm like, I don't. All right.
Alright, well, it's just a piece of heart, sadly. So, yeah, Nito will probably be left with just Eastern at this point. I don't think there's anything else that he can do.
I think he's down to just Eastern. Right now, the main difference is, for those who are just coming in, is Shady went to Eastern really early to find the hammer. Neatorific sequence broke up Death Mountain to find mitts, and is still looking for his Dark World access because of it. He does have Desert Palace done already, but he's going to have to do a lot more inefficient checks, and so far that's been the main difference in this seed. Oh, Shady with a nice rail clip to get past that Kadongo.
Yeah, it's interesting that he's not going to go for the bomb jump in order to get to the big chest. He's just playing it safe right now.
Oh yeah, that is really conservative from Shady. I guess, well, he's got Hammer from Moldorm. I mean, Moldorm is... Everyone hates Moldorm. Just a bad boss. Hammer makes the fight a lot easier. The main thing is you get to skip the enrage phase, because it's just 3 hammers and he dies. But I'm surprised Shady just decided to just skip the bomb jump. The bomb jump does save a significant amount of time.
Yeah, exactly. He's been playing really conservatively so far, so maybe he's just feeling like really relaxed and knows that he can just be efficient.
Ooh, that jump!
A lot.
That gave me this worm, man. That was a very good hammer fight from Shady.
Yeah.
And Nito finally finding his hammer.
All right.
And it's looking like he is continuing to Eastern. I could have seen the decision to just dip out at this point. He probably feels a little bit behind and might want to try to claw some this time back, but on the same point, well, I guess he really doesn't open anything up, does it? It's true.
He only opens up Magic Bat at this point. Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, he opens up Hera, but he knows it's not logic.
Yeah, it doesn't logically open up Hera, so that's probably the main reason.
Alright, so Shady found Kain on Moldorm. This opens up another really interesting routing decision. He can, like, go down Spiral Cave, then climb up through Paradox Cave, and then see if Turtle Rock is openable by Quake, and then clear it all the way up to Laser Bridge. If it is.
Yeah.
That opens up another 5 possible checks. So that's pretty crazy.
That would be a That feels like it would be a really early Turtle Rock check to me. I'd be more inclined to dip Turtle Rock here, kind of paradoxically, if I didn't have Fire Rod, because if you don't have the Fire Rod, Turtle Rock tends to kick you out pretty quick. If there's not there has to be 2 small keys in the first 2 chests for you to go any deeper.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it can happen. It is possible to get Fire Rod on Laser Bridge, but with him, he hasn't even done Village of Outcast or anything. So yeah, he's just taking the portal down low. If he did do Turtle Rock, that would be a pretty big play in my eyes.
I mean, you would definitely do Super Bunny Cave and Hookshot Cave before entering it, but I think it's not unreasonable to see if you can actually open it.
Yeah, I think you're correct that you you go up there. If you have Quake, you just open it while you're up there. That way you can just come back in whenever you want. And even if it doesn't kick you out, you can just have the mentality of I'm just going to check the first 2 chests and leave. If you're really against going deep into Turtle Rock.
Yeah. And I think the fact that it's Pen and Turtle Rock makes me more inclined to go in there. Exactly because you don't have the ice rod, you don't need to finish it. Of course, there's the chance that ice rod somewhere you need to kill Trinex, but that's such a slim margin that
yeah, the only way you'd have to kill Trinex is if it's either Trinex has something or Ped has something, which is pretty thin. And that's definitely a play that I think most top runners are going to make that play on if they feel like it's worth.
All right, so at this point, Neatorific is going to find his Moon Pearl, and we'll see what he's going to do because the Dark World is his oyster right now. He can do almost everything aside from the Mire area, and we'll see where he goes first at this point.
Yeah, I don't suspect he'll come up here right away because with Shady he hadn't done any of the Light World Death Mountain. Nito's already done it, so he only has Super Bunny and Hookshot Cave available to him. It is 6 checks. We did just say that there's nothing of value up there, but like I said, it's you're basically throwing away 90 seconds to get to those 6 checks, so they're a little less valuable than you would think they would be.
Yeah. So at this point, the main difference is that Shady has done Dark Death Mountain and Hera, and Neatorific has done like the Flipper checks and Sora and Blizzard.
I think it's actually kind of evened up a fair bit here with that Dark Death Mountain not being anything. If Nito can resist the urge to go up there for a long time, or even ever, this is pretty even at the moment. They both have one dungeon the other one hasn't done. So no one really has a really big advantage at the moment.
Yeah, I forgot that Shady also has done the Hype Cave until Catfish Trek. But Neatorific will be able to do that once they finish the Skull Woods, and he'll be able to combo that with the Pyramid Fairy check as well. So that could be very efficient on his part.
Yeah, a lot of times with these, when you see like early differences in runners in a random match, a lot of it comes down to someone maybe skipped a couple checks or the other person's done a couple more. Really, that's only an advantage that will persist if you never do those checks. Your advantage goes away the second you go back to do them. You may make up a little bit of that time with some routing efficiencies, depending on when you do them and how you do them. But small advantages can disappear really quickly just because, like you said, Nito hasn't checked Catfish. That's an advantage Shady has. But the second Nito checks it, that advantage goes away.
So Nito is going to be really lucky here with his Skull Woods routing. He found his only 2 checks are both items, so he'll be able to skip the rest of Skull Woods and just be able to go straight to Mafia. Well, Shady is probably going to clear out the entire back of Skull Woods and then another part of the front as well in order to find the piece of heart that's in the front.
Yeah, I think this is doing the wrong thing and getting the right result.
Yeah,
I definitely think clearing out the back is always, because assuming it's a crystal and you're 100% going to kill the boss, right? As long as you know you're going to kill the boss, you might as well start with Moth. I do the big key on the way back too, because if that has an item and Moth has an item, then I can skip the underneath check, which is really long, potentially. That's kind of like your best case scenario.
You do Vanilla Bicky on the way to Moth, right? Not on the way back.
Yeah, on the way to Moth. Because
Yeah.
that could have an item, and then if Moth has an item, you're done. And it becomes pretty quick. the other advantage of that is, like, let's say in any situation where Moth does have one item, which happens fairly often, when you start going to the front, the second you find the second one, you're done. You can skip the rest. When you do it front to back, you have to clear out everything because you're never going to find it because it's on Moth. But we are going to be seeing some Fighter Sword Moth fights. Fighter Sword, fairly low health. This is going to be not the easiest Moth fight. And no boots.
This could be a fight that makes or breaks the race, to be honest.
Yeah, either one of these runners could die. Anyone could die in this situation. This is a tough fight. Shady making use of that green potion.
It's a really good decision. Like, if there's any point, I guess this would be it in this situation. He's missing a few shots though. Let's see if he switches to the hammer as well.
Oh no, he's got green.
Another one.
He's got green goo for days.
I missed that he got a second one. Holy moly!
Yeah, there was one in Waterfall Cave too.
Which had gone there.
Has he gone there? Maybe Nito has 3 green potions.
Oh, Catfish was the other green. Okay. Shows you how much attention I'm paying to this.
Yeah, this is why we rely on the tracker so much to keep us honest. Okay, Nito will just be able to walk right out of here because he's done all his checks. Shady will have to do a couple more checks to get his 2 items out of here. Effectively, these are just overall checks now, since you've already killed the boss of this dungeon.
Alright, Nito being conservative at this point as well, checking cave ledge already. Definitely not a bad decision.
Yeah, it's one of those without the cape. I could go either way on this one. It's probably like one. It's little risk, potentially high upside check that if your opponent skips it and then you get that cape, you can get an item right away. It's always a bad feel when you haven't checked it and you get the cape and you're just
yeah.
Or even worse, the cape is like in a dumb spot and you can see it and you're like, do I have to pick that up? Do I really have to go get that? So seeing our first Village of Outcast check at the 40-minute, near the 40-minute mark, especially with Shady had fairly early Dark World access, is pretty late to me. But both our runners are in it right now, and see if it has anything for us.
We really don't have that much else left at this point. We have Ice Palace and like Pod. But Pod really is not a good one at this point.
But it is with that bow.
Alright, well, maybe a little bit. I mean, neatorific still has the entire Dark World loop to go through, so he still has to find his lamp as well. And at that point, it might be an easy decision to go to Pod.
Yeah, I think the bow is really just going to... Maybe we'll just change your decision on whether or not you're going to do the full clear of Thieves Town right here. We'll see if a common play a lot of runners make is they'll do the first 4 chests of Thieves Town right here because they're just right here at the top. Then the remaining checks in this dungeon pretty much require you to do most of it. So when it's a pendant, you'll see a lot of runners just dip in here, do 4, and then bail out. With that bow, I expect him to make that. The weighting does get changed a little bit because it is green pendant, so it's a bonus item for killing blind. Especially if you're thinking Pod. Well, I guess you don't have the mirror. You can't really combo in a green pendant turn in that efficiently like that.
No, not at this point. He still has a lot of clears to go through, so he might expect to find mirror.
We'll see if they decide to divert here again. If one of them decides to finish the dungeon. Shady, not even... I don't know, just saying hello to the dungeon and then leaving.
Well, it's a decision. Okay, so neatorific is just dipping out.
He may have just been coming to chess game to see if there was something like boots or something in here before coming into Thieves Town.
Yeah, that's not a bad decision. Boots save so much in this
Yeah,
match.
my rule of thumb is always if you need anything for Thieves Town, either hammer, sword, or boots, because Thieves Town becomes so much better with boots. It's crazy. Then I'll always do Village Outcast first before coming in. So because he made that left-hand turn to chess game, he may be thinking full clear here. Because otherwise you would just do these 4 and you would just go, okay, whatever, I'll just come back out and get it.
I think it makes a lot more sense for Shady to full clear this because he has a lot fewer checks left at this point.
That is true. He hasn't done
Big Game Stumpy, Pod, and Ice. I think that's and the flipper checks. I think those are the 4 main things that he has left.
Yeah, Ice is interesting right now. It is full clearable, completely in logic, regardless of key layout, because we have the hookshot and the King of Samaria. But they don't have a lot of hearts. All they have is Fighter Sword. It's not, there's not a lot of stuff that kind of scares me in this game, but Fighter Sword, Ice Palace, Low Hearts, Green Mail is kind of one of them still.
Shady not even going for a digging game and Stumpy or the Smith stuff. That is really surprising to me.
This is
noped out.
This is how I route, so I wish it better luck on Shady than I get with it. He may be thinking he can, and this is where I get myself in trouble, where it's like, oh, I'll just come back with Mirror, and do it then. Especially with Swamp Palace being a crystal, you're going to get Mirror at some point. But Mirror could be your go mode item, and there could be something on those locations. You just never get back there.
Shady only needs Flute and Mirror in order to beat the game at this point.
And another. So yeah, Boots will get that to him. Yeah, so either another sword, but he doesn't know that. He's never checked library.
Yep. Nito needs to be careful. Like these bombers. Okay, well, he's a more confident man than I.
Yeah, I'm like, after these two guys converge, I'm a little surprised at the divergence we got here. To me, the path forward seemed somewhat straightforward. You got your pod access. Pod's five chests. It's full clearable. It's a crystal. We might as well knock it off. Nothing is. I guess Mirror would make it more efficient later, but it's pretty thin to try to wait for that. And there's meanwhile. And Nito's doing the Smith sequence. This is a play that a lot of runners just won't make, doing Smith sequence without either Flute or Mirror, because of this. This trek back is pretty long for one check.
Yeah, agreed.
So this may, with Nito just completely missing that hammer, he may feel a little bit further behind than he is. This may be he's trying to spike something here and trying to get a big advantage.
I assume that Shady is just down to diving dungeons and try to compensate that with a lot of overworld checks that Shady might not be doing.
I think Shady's probably feeling pretty comfortable. Getting the Death Mountain done in one big check is always feels pretty good. There hasn't been any boots yet, so there's probably not any sort of like really big execution things that are gonna change between these two guys so far. So he's probably pretty good. He's probably just gonna, feeling pretty good. Just kind of keep his nose down and concentrate on dungeons. And it does look like Nito is going to be making this Death Mountain play. He does need to get the item in Hera, but Dark Death Mountain is going to be a blank for him.
Yeah, that's going to be a pretty big disappointment, I would say. I'm kind of surprised that he only did Smith and then just decided to peace out again. I think that if I might be doubling down too hard and say that if you're going to do one, you might also just do purple chest.
The purple chest is like the Smith, like on steroids, or without any of those items, because now you have to go all the way back to the warp, all the way back to the purple chest, and then at this point I would just assume he would save and quit and go hand it in. Like that's that's even longer. Like, just walking back to Kakariko with the Smith isn't the worst, but the purple chest is pretty bad if I like, you know, mirror or flute or something. Although the problem is, like, a lot of times you can like maybe do the chest later, like the next time you're going to be in that area, but he's kind of cleared everything out around there.
Yeah.
Really, the only sensible combo he could really hope to do at this point is like Graveyard Ledge.
Or the back of Thieves Town.
Back if it's true, that's right. We have Thieves Town still open, so maybe that's his thought, which I would tend to think that's a pretty good thought.
Yeah, I think before we start thinking too much about what the next possible move is going to be, we have to wait until what Pod brings us. The front was a pretty nasty layout when it comes to the keys. This exact layout is the reason why I always go straight to right side after doing the shooter chest.
Oh, you do? That's interesting. Yeah, I come up the middle if I get a key, go to ledge, try to get another key, and then get the item at the top.
Yeah, I think I'm one of the only ones that does that. I'm not sure if it's faster or slower. It's just really a feeling
I
thing
think
that I don't want to get.
I kind of treat Pod like a big flowchart in my mind. Like, I have, you know, if key is front, then do this, then do that. Like, and I kind of have all the scenarios plotted out, and I just follow that. I think Pod is definitely a place you can get too cute for your own good sometimes.
Oh yeah.
So I like, you know, just having here where the keys are. Here's what I do. Just do that, and you're fine. I do the if I get the big key, like if I had to go right side and I get the big key, I'll go kill Helma first.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because you can spike an item there, especially if you're one away from go mode, and then you just don't have to come back in. It gives you another decision point, and you have to go back to the beginning anyways. It's the same time, so he's like, you might as well just kill the dude right there.
Oh, that's a really good sword for Shady, especially if he doesn't know about the library one.
Yeah, and as I mentioned early on in this, Shady does have, I guess, a low legacy at this point experience, so he's comfortable enough with that Master Sword. You know, you always like to see the Tempered Sword. It's faster, it's straight up faster, which is why we get it in the 80% vanilla speedrun as opposed to just the Master Sword. But Shady's gonna be comfortable with this. He won't really be looking for another one. He'll, you know, if he gets to the point where he's in go mode, he might open a couple extra checks, but he's gonna be feeling pretty good at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, still 2 items plus maybe a medallion away, and very maybe boots for a GT torch, but we're not going to assume that.
Yeah, the only other reason boots are required is have we gotten a lumberjack check? I know Nita likes to do it early. I just wasn't paying attention if he went up there.
Shady definitely did.
Okay.
Another check that we haven't seen yet is Spike Cave, actually. That was one that Shady skipped right after doing Hookshot.
Yeah, I think with the way, you know, maybe doing it here, or he's going to go. No, he's going to go back to. He could come back after Dark Death Mountain to come back to it, which could be another pretty swingy location.
Well, yeah, that's what we said before as well.
Yeah, well, you know. Look, if I could predict what good runners would do, then I might actually be good, as opposed to being out.
Well, even good runners just get eliminated.
Yeah, like I said it before, I've been pretty impressed with the top 128 this year. There are no free wins in this tournament to be found anywhere.
Yeah, for sure.
Besides, there were 4 free wins to be found in this tournament. Excuse me.
Having beams for this room is very nice. Okay, so we'll have to keep an eye out for neatorific, what he does after these checks in a bit.
No, shoutouts to turtle parties.
Oh, that's party, alright.
Yeah, this room, it's the strat Shady was trying to do, that bottom left terminal can just nope out on you, and it just nothing you can do. Shady is doing his NMG light version of Helma. He's got a couple extra hearts than you normally would have. Just 17 hammers to open the mask. Holding the sword out actually turns out extends the sword, the hammer hitbox a little bit, and makes those hits a lot easier.
Yeah, especially in the second phase.
Yeah, the second phase, isn't it pixel perfect without the sword out or something like that? It's really tight.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why I adapted to the new version of neatorific already going for the game, but you need the hammer first. Oh, okay. Well, I guess if you use it for that, that's fine.
Yeah. So what Aries pointed out there, you can use the Lionels don't take any damage from either Master or Fighter Sword. One of the strats you can use, you can just hammer that guy on the far left to get to him. I don't think that works without boost though. You're not fast enough, and you're gonna get wrecked. So I think he kind of had to go to Kane there to avoid any of that. And the other thing that just stuff happening real quick, Ari mentioned there's somewhat of a new strat if people aren't aware of on Helma Sword. If you do a sword out hammer dash, it actually the hitbox on the hammer becomes like wider too, and you can get a couple easier hits in like that. So if it's something you haven't tried, you might want to go ahead and give it a look. It can be kind of difficult to do, especially because you have to sort of time it, but it can give you some extra hits that you might not otherwise get.
Yeah, it's a nasty grip. It takes a bit to get used to, but
yeah, for us, we've been doing Argus 0 cycles and stuff, so it's the same. I assume you use the same grip, so we're at least used to it from that. Well, I guess it's not that bad of a grip for you, is it?
No, I'm lucky. All right, so neatorific is going for Pyramid Fairy right now, so that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, this could be something. I mean, we're running out of, I guess, good locations to check. This Pyramid Fairy, back of Thieves Town, including the Green Pendant, and then Ice Palace. Shady with the Master Sword. I think once he got that Master Sword, would be pretty. Oh, he's not. He's coming up to these waterfall checks.
Yeah, so he's going to get his book. So I guess he's gonna go for desert, but he might also wait.
Yeah. The thing with there's 2 dungeons. I know it's desert. You can go into and not know if you can complete it, and like Mire is the same thing. If you don't have a fire source, you may or may not be able to complete it. It's always weird when you decide to make those choices when you to go into, because it's like in this situation, desert is completely beatable, and if boots are really deep, at some point Shady's gonna have to make that call. So it just depends on when you decide to do it. It's only 2 items, so a lot of runners will put it off until they find those boots.
Oh, that was pretty exciting. So now we kind of want Shady to go and do desert, but again, without the boots, it's less tempting.
I think he's taking the NMG route to ice.
Yeah, the slow route.
Yeah, there's no boots. Normally, you would just use flute or something to get back down there, but without, they don't have any. They've got no movement items. They don't have flute. They don't have mirror. They don't have boots. It's been kind of a slog of the seed so far.
Yeah,
but this would be a good play from Shady. With that Master Sword, I think he was mainly just avoiding this because he only had Fighter Sword, and like I said, it's pretty nasty. With Master Sword, it's definitely a lot more doable.
Yeah, Master Sword and half magic definitely helps a lot.
Oh yeah, it's with the half magic too.
So Nero just got flute out of Pyramid Fairy, so that's going to be interesting to see when Shade will get that. It does make movement a lot better for Nito.
Yeah, it's going to speed up a lot of things here. We're also going to see what medallion is actually required. Let's see if it actually is this Quake, or if this Quake is useless. Nope, it is Quake.
Alright.
So that means, yeah, so Mire is going to be completable for Nito. So I expect him to just go ahead and knock it off right here. So this is a pretty big inflection point in this race. We have, Nito not doing Mire. Am I? Oh, he just has he has Fighter Sword still. For the same reasons I said Ice Palace. Mire isn't even with Mire and Fighter Sword. It's not so much that it's scary; it's that Vitreous is the slowest thing ever. Like it is just painfully slow.
It's really slow, yeah.
Yeah, it's.
So until you find Silver, it's not going to be great. Oh,
he does have.
It's going to be dangerous.
Oh, shady. If I'm gonna have. Hey, you did it, Shady.
All right. Well, yeah, these are the things that just out of so many seconds that could be really dangerous.
Yeah, a lot of the movement tech on ice to get through, not necessarily ice palace, but like literally the ice surfaces. You can use boots to control your movement a lot. So these ice rooms just become nightmares without them. As Shady was giving us a demonstration of.
That's a nice price back, though. Yeah, catch that fairy.
You never need the bug net till you need it.
Alright, so Nito is just going to give us another rundown of Pod. So most of the new stuff is going to be on the left side of the screen here. The only real thing in Pod was the extra sword, right?
Yeah, the extra sword. So we still may get that route divergence I was talking about. Nito may take that Master Sword and go ahead and head into Misery Mire with it. Master Sword Vidi is just a little bit slower than Tempered, but it's light years faster than Fighter Sword. You can just go ahead and do. Although I know Nito doesn't do the deboost on Vidi, so even with Master, he may be still a little hesitant to head there.
I think that as long as you have cape, you'll be completely fine. You could just
he does. Yeah,
he
does have cape. Yeah,
unfortunately, you can't magic.
Yeah, you can't do that with Fighter Sword. So you have to be spamming the slash button, and Fighter Sword slashes do nothing with Vidi.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's the strat that a lot of people use on Vidi is just to get deboost off the goo in front of the eyeballs, and you can just do spins in that for him that way. And the WQ Vidi is a very specific method of doing the deboost. Just answering some questions in chat.
Very front-loaded with keys and Ice Palace so far, so nothing interesting yet. Help King helping once again in chat.
What a cool dude.
Yeah, way better than his brother.
Not Helpa King?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, Helma. Yeah, I get it. Okay. Jokes.
We got there. Alright, so Shay is taking a slightly different route. He's going to go to the Ice Tea chest right now, rather than going there from the other side and doing the Freezer chest first. This room is a pain to get to anyway, so I don't think this is a bad route.
Yeah, Ice is really fast to go mode. It's one of those ones that you try to put off. A lot of times, what people look to do is like you have to complete dungeons, so you might as well just go ahead and just do them when they're available, because you get checks and you're gonna get close to your goal anyways. Ice is one of those ones you still like to put off though, because it's so fast to go mode compared to doing everything. It's almost like they aren't dungeon checks really. Because most of the items are out of the path that you would take to the boss.
Yeah. It's like an extreme version of Catfish.
Shady doing a bomb jump over there. Anyone wants to know how to do that bomb jump? It's the easiest bomb jump in the game. You just put your face into the wall, put a bomb down, and you get over.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
If
I've
only
heard a
I
couple.
can
I've,
do that
I've talked to
easily.
people who didn't know that, and I was surprised. I was like, "Oh man, let me improve your day right now."
You're one of the 10,000.
Yes, you're one of the 10,000 to learn something new. Yeah, see, helping out people in chat.
Alright, so with a complete magic bar, this shouldn't be too much of a problem.
Now with
Windmill, it's still scary.
oof. Yeah, Shady just making use of that the fire rod. Fire rod does, I don't even know, like fire rod does a lot of, was like gold sword damage to him or something?
Yeah, gold sword.
Yeah. So just controlling him up into the corner there with that spin, and then getting a couple master sword hits in and finishing him off the ice rod. Very, very nicely done.
Alright, so Ice Palace was a lot of nothing, but at least it's his 4th crystal.
Yeah, so at this point we're looking at Mire, which Shady still needs to do Pyramid Fair to even get access to, or back of Thieves Town. Or Nito never actually went to Spike Cave, I don't think.
He did. He did do Spike Cave because
He
we were
did.
talking about the menu decaying, and then wait.
Oh, right. Yeah, right. Sorry, I got wrapped up talking about hammering Lionels and forgot the actual item check afterwards.
Yeah, it was just 3 bombs. So yeah, otherwise we only have purple chest left, I think.
We Purple Chest, Mire, Thieves Town, Green Pendant.
Yeah.
I believe that is it.
I'm not sure if there's still an item on Armos. I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. And besides that, we're gonna need something like Ether to open up Turtle Rock.
Ether opens up pedestal, but that's not something we're really excited about.
Yeah, that's when you have a pendant, either Mire or Turtle Rock, and it's a medallion you don't have. You are rooting to never see that medallion.
Oh yeah.
Or you think you're behind, you're rooting to see it, and you're rooting to make that play. But just from a pure, we like to go fast. Just from a pure, like getting the seat over as fast as possible. You don't want to see it.
I would assume that neatorific already checked Ether Tablet once he was in Death Mountain, because he had Book at that point, despite not having the Master Sword. I don't think it was anything.
The one I completely missed. Where was Ice Rod?
Ice Rod was on Lamo.
Oh, okay. All right. So Shady will be getting it here shortly.
And hoping that he won't need it.
Yeah, hoping he won't need it. He does know about Turtle Rock though, so when he finds it, it's going to be a big blank, more or less.
Some people think that Nito didn't check Ether Tablet. Okay. Oh, if that's the case, then we're going to be here for a while. But we're going to need some things to line up in order for that to be the case.
Yeah.
So that was the first item, and then the second one was Ice Rod. All right.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing we would need for PED to be a thing right now is that Ether medallion. But we're running out of locations for that to be.
Okay, so he didn't check the tablet. That's really interesting.
Yeah, that is surprising. And Shady didn't have it, so Ether tablet is available.
And it's very isolated. If the mirror is on there, it'll be a long time before people get back there.
Yeah, the way this is, if I had to make a guess, the way I think this is going to play out is either Mirror or Ether is going to be in Mire, and then if it's Ether, then Mire will probably be in Total Rock.
Yeah.
Or the basement of Thieves. I guess that is actually that's. I wasn't counting how many items were in Thieves Town. I don't know how many are in the back still.
I think
That's
it's at
technically
least
more
2.
likely at this. At least 2 plus the pendant, right? So 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
for
right.
sure.
Yeah.
Right. So after Lamo, Shady is going to be a dungeon ahead. But
Alright.
depending on what's in Mire, Nito will be able to go mode Ice Palace. So I'm not really sure as the advantage at this point. Shady will probably go check Pyramid Fairy as soon as he's finished with this.
I assume coming here is as much a Pyramid Fairy play as it is a Desert Palace play. It's kind of your general thought process when you're doing a 5/6 crystal is you're either going to find something in the dungeon itself, or it's kind of like a Burning Pendant on steroids. That you're either going to find something there, or you get like 2 bonus checks because of it.
Yeah. Also checking if he actually needed boots or not. So, all right.
Yeah, and he got down to pretty much more or less the last thing he could do. So
Neither of them check Stumpy yet either, I think. So this is there are some really interesting checks open at this point. Oh, actually, no, never mind. I think Nito did do it when he picked
Yeah.
up yeah, never mind.
I'm saying I'm almost positive one of them did it. It was Shady who bailed out on the South Dark Hyrule checks, which is a bit surprising.
Yeah. Alright, so some big checks coming up here for Nito. So let's keep an eye out. Oh, Shady's like, do I want to check South Dark Will? Do I want to?
This is.
Oh. Hesitation is the seed of defeat.
Yeah, this is always a feel bad thing. Again, I think, what he was thinking was, I know Mire is going to be in the seed. Let me do these with Mire, and I can get K45 with it. Unfortunately, this, I did the same exact thing recently. I was like, I'll just do these with Mire, and nope, that's not how it worked out at all.
Oh, it's such a long walk, dude.
Yeah, it's a really long walk. I think at this point he's better off with a save and quit back. I think without the extra menu time, that's definitely correct. With the extra menu time, I'm not sure.
This such feels bad. I think at that point you might almost just have to commit and think, well, if Mire isn't here, I'm really screwed, so I might as well just commit to the play. We'll see. He's digging to the east, so he's going to walk back.
Oh, he doesn't jump down the other fence. Come on.
Alright, that's one item. That's the full heart. Alright.
Yeah, so Nito's, if he doesn't find what he's looking for in here, I would think maybe be thinking Thieves Town next. Shady will probably get this flute and be beelining to the Mire area because to him it's 4 items in this area. Well, 2 items, and then he doesn't know about whether he can get into Mire yet.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to take a bit before he actually has access to Mire. Walking all the way, saving quitting, walking all the way to get Riku again. It's quite an investment.
Yeah, it's one of the problems with getting a late flute is that you can't combo activating it with anything. You just kind of have to walk over there, activate it, and then go away. A lot of times you can throw in well, I'm gonna activate it, and I never did Sick Kid, or I never did Magic Bat, or something along those lines. But when it's this late, you got to trudge over there and turn it on. That's.
All right. I'll be surprised if Nito does do Thieves Down before Ice, but maybe he wants to avoid it at all costs and just feels he needs to make that play in order to win. difficult to call.
And there's the mirror, and that
Alright.
puts us in go mode, I believe.
Yeah, sure does.
Yep.
Barring some extreme shenanigans at GT Torch.
So Shady has a lead with Ice Palace in the dungeon count. I think that's the only difference between the dungeon counts right now. And
Yeah.
but Nito's got a head start in Misery Mire. So I think as long as Shady comes straight here, this is actually fairly close.
Yeah, depending on the route that Shady is taking, this could be really close. But
Yeah,
he has to do cutscene chest anyway, because the big key wasn't there.
yeah.
But
Ice
yeah.
Palace isn't that long of a dungeon. Neither is Mire, really. So I think Nito does have a little bit of a head start here overall. It's interesting that
Sword in Library.
yeah, Sword in Library never came into play at all, though. Nito not getting spooky. Oh no, he did get it. Okay.
Okay.
It didn't look to me like the first one went off. I didn't see the screen like stutter.
Yeah, it didn't. So it was.
And you got the third one. All right.
All right.
Let's see what I'm guessing Nito's going to do the cape here. Yeah. I know he's a fan of this strat. Just straightforward. You don't have to worry about it. Get in there and go to town.
It's the brother of Lock and Beam. It's the cape and spam.
I feel like cape and spam is like it's not the brother, but it's like the excommunicated cousin more.
Yeah.
You know what you did.
Alright, so we're evening up the crystal count. Ooh, go mode Ice Palace. That's a quickie. So
Yeah, the go mode Ice Palace is going to be faster than having to full clear Mire, but not by a bunch. We still have GT big key divergence potentially. I want to say Nito does the Dark Magician strat, the modified one, where you go left and right.
left, right, and then left again.
Yeah, but not all the way to. Cause I'm pretty sure he does that one.
It's the brain strat.
Yeah, I definitely unabashedly stole it from him.
Oh, sick. So especially at this point, it just becomes an execution battle. So we'll see how much the potential GT route change influences things. But yeah, I don't think Swamp is going to change up much because that's so quick too, aside from Argus.
Oh right, I completely forgot they both had to do Swamp. Yeah, with Master Sword, no boots, it's not like one of these guys can whip out a zero cycle or something to change the Argus fight by a bunch.
Oh, Nito is still looking for stuff.
Interesting.
Just hoping to find a quick sword or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, that chest and I only expect him to do that chest and the freezer chest. I think freezer chest makes a lot of sense. That one's a bit more marginal. But I mean, right now it's a Silver's Master sword Ganon, so and Nito knows about the one sword. He knows he ain't getting that. Even if he finds boots, he's not going over there. I don't think. So
yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not well known enough of. I don't know neatorific well enough to know whether he's confident in Master Sword Silver or stuff like that.
He's done enough rando that he's confident, especially with like cape and stuff. Right. He's not a big knows the NMG strats, but he's gotten through all these situations with just complete garbage items, so he's comfortable. Comfortable, but prefer not to do it, is what I will describe it as.
That makes sense. Alright, so Shady is going to have to check everything anyway, but okay, so he's going to do that. That makes sense. I'm not sure if it would be faster for him to find the mirror now, then go all the way to cutscene chest, or get the big key now and then go all the way to the big chest and then find the mirror later.
I think
I don't think it
getting
matters too much.
Yeah, I think this is going to be better. Because this is just effectively the NMG route, right? Except the item that you need is in the small chest, not the big chest. Besides that, it's like the normal dungeon, right?
Navi has never been so imposing with a fire rod.
As answering who's ahead right now, it's pretty close. Nino is a little bit further. You can see him dropping into the boss right now, and Shady still has to go across and up to the boss. So yeah, it looks like. I guess we can start a checkpoint when Nito on Crystal catches to get an exact time difference here. It looks like it's going to be a little over a minute, I think.
Yeah.
Somewhere around that neighborhood.
Probably a little bit more than that, even.
Yeah, maybe. This is a little bit bigger of a gap than I thought it was.
That's
Turns out
actually...
ice is really quick when you don't have to do anything in it.
Okay. Once the last one survived, I was a little bit scared for me.
And that's go mode for Shady. Alright, so Crystal rose up at 1805.
Yeah, sort of at 1809.
That made more sense to use as a point.
Hit that split button.
Yeah, and the Crystal rising, I don't know why I picked that. I was going to do a Crystal catch and I missed it, and I was just like, well, when it goes up, I'll do that. Let's see if Shady gets the spooky without. No, he just bails out of it. So the normal spooky setup is to use the boots. You put a dash clad down, and that basically manipulates some memory values and gives the fire rod shots this wonky value. In lieu of the boots, you can actually use a fire rod shot, beams, I think, or a silver arrow. But you always have the fire rod if you're gonna do spooky, because spooky requires the fire rod. So you'll see players just shoot the fire rod across, and they'll preserve spooky that way. I guess Shady just might be unaware of that.
That's not too well known. It's not too weird to not know about those backup setups.
Now, fluteless spooky, that's the true hidden tech.
Oh, no. Isn't that just AD spooky?
Yeah, it's AD spooky.
Yeah, okay.
I even beat you to that one, so. So here are the damage boosts that I was talking about. Shady's diving in with the Master Sword here. He's gonna have to watch his health. He's getting a little low. No!
No fear.
Oh, alright.
You forget! Oh no.
Some fear. Oh, that's right. The fairy that we got like an hour ago, coming in to save the day.
Such a bait, man. Holy. So
the damage boost with Master Sword is significantly harder than the Tempered Sword. With the Tempered Sword, like I said, there's just a specific movement set that we all have memorized, and you can always beat the cycle. With Master Sword, you're always going to get at least one cycle, so you have to be paying attention to like when the eye opens up and all that kind of stuff. So it's a lot trickier. A lot of times what I do is I just damage boost, get a couple spins in, and then just baby out and start slashing the eyes from the corner of the room, or using some arrows to finish them off. I didn't see what exact crystal cut, but it looks like a little over 2 minutes then. It's like two and a half. So yeah, at this point, the 2.5 minute lead. It's more or less Nito's game to lose right here. This is Nito's tournament life on the line. So if Nito does end up pulling this out, we will have a game 3.
The big question is how are they both feeling about this seed? I mean, it's got to be kind of nerve-wracking to be at this point and still only have 12 hearts, green mail, master sword, no silvers, no boots. What if GT Big Key is on the torch? There's a lot of variables at this point.
That's true. We still do have the possibility of GT being on the torch. If that happens, both of them will just full clear GT, and the boots are going to be in there.
That's a statement.
You know,
I bet it's on green pen.
Cut to 2 hours later when they're pulling the boots off the ped.
Oh no.
Yeah, Ether and GT, you know.
Alright, just a hook and double slash. Oh, he's taking a bit of damage there.
Yeah, Argus can sometimes be scary. We always give each other a hard time when you die on Argus, because you generally don't die here, but with coming here 4 hearts...
He's a different animal with only Master Sword.
Yeah, with Master Sword, it's definitely... oh, yeah. Okay, he did not stand on top of Argus. I was a little bit worried about that one.
Alright. Still alive. We're getting a few heart attacks this seed, but it's all good.
I'm personally rooting for not finding either another sword or silvers. I want to see these Master Sword Ganon fights.
Yeah, I would say Shady might have a small advantage there.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I'm rooting for. Shady's behind right now, and I think that could. I mean, Nia would have to die on Ganon for it to make a difference. I don't care how bad your Master Sword Ganon fight is. You're not going to take 2 minutes longer. Well, actually, no. I take that back. That fight is really bad. Even without dying, you could lose close to that amount in that fight. It's a really tough fight. It's one of the hardest fights in the game.
Yeah, for sure. Especially to do that.
Yeah. I don't know how well Shady knows it. Like I said, he has run low before, but I don't know how much time he specifically put into that fight.
Quite a bit, I would think, but not exactly sure. Okay, so Shady checked the very first chest, and these two as well. Those are checks that Nito didn't make.
Yeah, that's... Yeah, it's surprising the checks that they are both doing and skipping. That might be a little confirmation bias, and there's always a sword in the swamp. You know?
It makes more sense for Shady, because he doesn't know about the extra sword in the library.
That is true, yeah. It's weird to me that Nito made the one check in Ice Palace, you know, in a fairly slow room, and then skipped the 2 decently quick checks in Swamp. Like,
yeah.
you tend to either go like, oh, I'm gonna check like these subset of checks, or I'm just gonna skip everything. But I think with Master Sword Silvers, those are chests that I would check. The interesting one is always, you know, in the situation you haven't done Hookshot Cave yet, do you dip in there? I tend to never go in there. You go in there all the time?
Oh yeah. If I'm on Master Sword Silvers, I'll check that. No doubt.
There's too many items in GT that, like, I'm gonna make that play, I think. I don't know.
Okay, so they both had the same amount of cycles and same amount of movements. So.
Oh, Shady almost saving the one cycle there on phase 2.
So I didn't check the sword up on the neatorific side on Swamp, but I think he gained a little bit of time considering the extra checks Shady made.
Yeah, Shady had a little bit better of a Argus fight though, so I think pretty close to coming out in the wash. Hey, look, Bombos. That'll be helpful for.
Also, big key though, so.
No, yeah, that's probably more important. So
just a little bit.
GT route Well, that's not true. Shady could go full right, so...
Nobody goes full right. Totally shoutouts to Falane's race in Game 3 against Andy, where he went full right.
Yeah, I lost to Dante because he went full right one time. Also Dynamoldorm, but...
Also
okay.
matters.
I saw Nito grab the wall. I'm like, is he gonna do Mimiclip here? I forgot that's his strata choice there.
Oh no, the lag.
Yeah, these are rooms that you can save buckets of time on by practicing them a bunch. They're very difficult rooms.
Yeah, GT is a whole different beast. It's like pure execution and reaction to RNG. It becomes so much harder without boots too.
Yeah, I think GT is one of those few places that it's even if you have no interest in doing the vanilla speedrun, I think it's worthwhile like coming and learning the strats for these because someone who knows them can just put up so much time on you versus just kind of making it up as you go along.
You have to do the gauntlet every single seed.
Yeah, when I take breaks from the game and I come back, GT is one of the things that stays the strongest for me because I've been doing it in rando all the time.
Some solid gauntlet execution here. Oh, misses the pot. That's where the panic sets in. When these rooms go off the rails, it's hard to get back on track.
Yeah, considering the categories I've been playing recently, I feel for this right now. the horrible gauntlets of pain. Nito getting some pretty rough landmo patterns. Looks like it's gonna end up being a 3-cycle on his side. Looks like it's gonna end up being a 4-cycle on his side.
Nice long movement too, so it adds another few
3
seconds. Yeah.
Alright, so it looks like Shay's gonna come straight left here. He'll just be getting this big key.
Yeah,
but he's behind by pretty much an entire climb here.
Yeah, this is going to be hard for him to catch up. Nito's going to have
I mean,
climb.
The Ganon fight is... yeah. I don't know what Nito's pot/fairy situation is at the moment. I haven't seen him use any pots. I think he's got at least one green. I think he might just have green potions. I haven't seen him go buy any. He never got a fairy.
Yeah,
he does have the bug net. He may opt to get a fairy at the top of GT. Pick up the one and then net the other.
That seems like a wise decision.
It does have cape and half magic though. That does make the MS fight a lot easier.
Yeah. Yeah, he had a solid climb. Bit of a rough Lamo, but sometimes that just goes off the rails as well.
Yeah, the opening cycle was a bit rough. And then just, yeah, Lamo can do that to you. He's not getting either one of these fairies.
Full magic and green pot should be enough.
It's also using the hammer on Moldorm too. The hammer does the same amount of damage as Master Sword spins, and you need to be on the hookshot next anyways. And again, you have the problem with the hammer just having that tiny little hitbox. There's a really neat strat here to do on Moldorm. If you just because you have to go to the hookshot if you have it out for this fight. When Moldorm's coming at you, you can just use the hookshot. You'll get iframes to pass through him, and then during the hookshot animation, just release your spin, and you'll pretty much hit him with a spin every time. It's a pretty neat strat. If you haven't tried it, I highly recommend it. Even with tempered, it turns out is useful.
Yeah, for sure. And Shady going for this one. Oh.
You going for the swag powder, apparently?
Yeah, he wanted to catch it, but...
Oh, okay.
Ooh. Yeah, he doesn't have a green pot, so he needs to be careful with his magic.
Well, I think... Yeah, I mean, he'll just have some issues with the Wizrooms not having enough magic. Meanwhile, Nito getting through his Aga 2 fight. Gonna be dropping into Ganon soon here.
Yeah, then it's going to be a long drag.
So, for the Master Sword, we've been hyping this up. We probably should explain it at some point. Ganon takes no damage from Master Sword slashes. He only takes damage from spins. So you still need 12 spins for phase 1, 2. And then, so if you don't have silvers, we're going to need 24 spins on phase 4. Like I said, it's a very difficult fight. The spins cause you to recoil, and boot. Well, I guess boots don't matter for this the Master Sword fight, but when you spin and hit Ganon, he gives you this big recoil that can be hard to control, and you have to deal with these bats and this trident. There's a lot going on in this fight.
And he does a lot of damage too. Like any stray trident hit or bat hit will do 4 hearts of damage in the first 2 phases. He himself does 8 hearts of damage with Green Mill, so you need to be super careful. So he's the second phase.
Yeah, he's gonna might be actually be able to one cycle this right here with the cape and these double spins. He's gonna need 6 double spins here. Doesn't get it. He does have the green pot though, so he's not concerned about his magic count right now. He also has lamp, so magic's not too big of a worry. You could beat the second phase of Ganon with. You only need 1 full bar to do it if you hit every single spin. So with half magic, he's got 4 extra shots too. And then on top of that, the lamp.
If nothing weird happens, this should be relatively smooth riding it out, as long as he hits Torch Glitch.
Yeah, that's true. Torch Glitch is pretty much hard required. And he gets it. Okay.
Alright.
And with Lamp, he would probably still have enough. Lamp and those pots and half magic, he'd have enough to be able to do it without Torch Glitch, but it'd be pretty slow.
Yeah. Alright, even switching to Fire Out, so that shows some confidence already. That's really good.
Yeah, on this phase, it is possible to hit Ganon 3 times per cycle. It does require a fair bit of practice to be able to do that consistently. And it looks like Nito is mostly getting 2s here. I still think that's still not gonna be enough to Shady to catch up here, unfortunately.
Oh no. No, as long as he keeps up 2, then he'll be fine. And now he's back on track.
Yeah, I just expect him just to be playing it safe here.
That's the body, switch to Fire Rod, and then it's so much easier to get triples. And he's having a really solid fight here. Just waiting until he drops down, not taking any chances with missed torch hits or any stray fire bats. So, yeah, I'm sure the nerves will be pretty rampant right now.
Yeah.
It's the elimination game.
Yeah, this fight is so long. Like, you generally feel pretty good. It's like, oh, I'm in Ganon before the other guy done at the very least, But this fight is so long. Like, you have to probably keeping one eye on that chat the entire time.
Oh, now he starts sliding torches early. Oh no! Oh no! It's when you start switching things up, that's when stuff goes wrong. But that was the last hit. So put some GGs in chat for neatorific. Yeah, they're wonderful fight.
Hey, wait till he crosses the bridge.
Put some GGs in chat right there.
Hey man, sometimes that hand slips. We've all done it. But safely getting across the final boss into the Triforce room.
Shady made his way to the third phase as well. Relatively solid for the second phase, but he is on 1 heart, so needs to be a little bit careful. I'm not sure if he caught a fairy at some point still.
Yeah, the 4th phase isn't really too scary. There's just ways of manipulating this bat, so it's not gonna run into your face. So you're not too worried about it being at 1 heart here. Just have to, get through the fight.
He's having a really good phase for so far. Oh, barely missing that one.
It looks like Shady's just finishing up this fight. Doing a really good job just getting through this phase.
Yeah, taking a bit safe with the lamp. Might not have had enough.
Yeah, he's been getting triples every time it's on the bottom.
He just won't die.
Yeah, the fight feels, especially when you're used to the tempered fight, it's feels so long to do Master Sword. But GG's Shady.
Yeah, and we got really solid rounds.
Yeah, it was a good one. We got Nito here joining us in a second for interviews. Yo, Nito, GG.
GG.
So, what'd you think about that seed? Just overall thoughts.
Where are the swords?
Well, where's the boots is one question. I don't know. We saw as many swords as you saw.
All right, there was one in library. I forgot about that.
There was one in library. Shady actually never checked it, and we were worried that was going to be a potential difference maker when those boots showed up, but they didn't. So
the entire time was when I started climbing GT, I was like, I bet there's a sword in Hope Room, but I resisted the urge to check.
Yeah, you guys went the same way in GT, so we didn't see any extra checks from Shady's side.
We did see Hope Room on Shady's side.
Oh, we did? Okay, we saw Hope Room.
Yeah, it was a piece of heart and something else, arrows over a piece or something. But yeah, no swords.
Yeah,
there were some extra checks in Swamp that weren't the sword either, so we just know that the silvers were in Thiefstone apparently, but otherwise.
Yeah, when Ganon said they were in Thiefstone, I'm like, oh, I'm probably losing because maybe he checked the bag and I didn't.
Yeah, we were watching this and it was looking like, if we were in either one of your shoes, I don't think either one of us would have felt having a comfortable lead. But Shady is also joining us right now. GG Shady, nice run.
Hey, thanks, GG Nito.
GG. I'll be honest, I stopped looking at IRC when I started climbing GT, and at my 23rd spin, I checked, and I'm like, wow, he's not done yet. And I got really nervous, and I whiffed.
Yeah. So I don't know if there was necessarily one thing that it came down to. Nito, you actually were kind of behind early. Shady you guys were in Sasha's hut like the same exact time. Shady went into Eastern and you dipped out. So what did you think about the mitts there? Like I feel like that really threw you through a loop. You're probably thinking that was your Dark World access and that like lamp or something was in Eastern, and then it turned out Hammer was in there and your Moon Pearl was on Magic Bat.
I expected Flute to be on Magic Bat, and
Yeah.
and Hera having the Moon Pearl or something like that. Like ever since we hit group stage, I've been last locating everything. So I'm like, oh, last locating Moon Pearl as per usual.
Yeah, you guys converged a couple times during that. The main difference was Nito, you had done Desert Palace early, and Shady had done Tower of Hera early. Shady was able to do Death Mountain all in one swing because he went up there. He went up there fairly early, skipping the Village of Outcast checks. I guess I'll ask you about that, Shady. Why go up the mountain before doing like Village of Outcast or any of the early Dark World checks?
Well, I mean, I did High Cave first, which is what I normally do, and then I just wanted to do Pyramid and Catfish because they're awkward to route in otherwise. And after that, I'm like, I don't have anything great to do in the village. Thieves Down's a pendant. I've got a little toothpick for Skullwoods. I didn't really fancy going in there. I thought I'd go to the mountain because I could do all of the Light World and including Crystal Hera as well. So I figured there's loads I could do in the mountain. So I decided to head up there.
Yeah,
and it worked out really well finding the mitts up there.
Yeah, it paid off. You basically were able to do the minimum amount of Death Mountain climbs overall. I think the main thing was, Nito ended up getting. Oh, it was the Pyramid Fairy check. Since he had done Desert really early, he was able to do Desert Pyramid Fairy a lot sooner. Didn't do Mire right away when he dipped in there. I assume that was because you only had Fighter Sword, which is what I was speculating. Yeah, just because it's just slow.
It's taking 10 minutes, assuming I didn't die.
Yeah, and
spins.
Shady gave us a little bit of a heart attack on that Vidi fight.
I knew I had that fairy from earlier, so I was pretty aggressive there. It was still a bit sloppy. I shouldn't really take a hit, but I knew I had the fairy.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Oh, I forgot about the fairy, and but even the first lightning bolt that came out that almost got you, it was like like it curved like right around you. I was like, oh, jeez.
And we were chatting a bit in RC, and I think it came down to, I think he full cleared ice where I go moded it. So
yeah, but you had a lead at that point anyway. It was fairly close. It was basically Shady had to do Mire and you had to do ice. And Shady had to full clear it. Mire, of course, to get the mirror. So you had a small lead at that point. It ended up being like it was right around like 2.5 minutes from like sword ups in Mire. And I think it ended up being right around that for the finish time as well. So the Ice Palace made a difference, and I just think just you doing Pyramid Fairy a lot earlier was the other main thing, because some of Shady's routing after that got a little wonky because he had missed the South Dark World checks early on.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was going pretty well for me early on, actually, even throughout the seed. So I was a bit surprised to see the dot done, actually. I knew it was possible, but I checked when I fell into Ganon, and I thought, actually, do you know what? Maybe I have this. And then I look at the end, and I'm like, oh man, he's finished 3 minutes ago.
Yeah, that Ganon fight is really long with Master Sword.
It's hard for me to pinpoint where it went wrong in the seed. I can't even remember where the book was, because I needed that to get into Desert.
Zora.
Yeah, Zora.
Oh, I did get to Zora a little bit late.
Yeah. So I was actually commenting early that when Nino missed that hammer, I was like, it's going to be a long time before he ever goes there. And like, I think what really bailed him out on this seed was Magic Bat having Pearl, because if Pearl's anywhere else, like when do you go back to Eastern at that point? You're probably full clearing everything and then doing Eastern pretty late. Since he sequence broke Death Mountain, he was able to get the mitts. And that, kind of for mitts and flippers, go do those checks. He got the book, and then he did Desert when you were starting to do Dark World and Death Mountain checks. And at that point, it looked like he was like way far behind, and then he kind of converged a little bit more back when you were both in like the Village of Outcasts area, just with having done a different dungeon already.
Something else that bailed me out too. It was Turtle Rock being Aether locked. I had Kane, I had Ice Rod, I was going to full clear T-Rock. Yeah,
because I think if it was like Ether or something, or some medallion, you had...
Only had Quake,
Yeah, if it was Quake, Shady going up there so early, I suspect you wouldn't have thought of going in there, but you had done it much later, and it would have been much more reasonable play.
Yeah, I thought it was a possibility, but at that stage, I still had the village to do, and I still have a lot of stuff in the Dark World. So I think it would have been a mistake for me to dip in, and I didn't have the ice rod at the time, so that really, there's no way I would have popped in that early. But I can see how it might be different on Nito's situation.
Yeah, I think the main thing is just, ironically making the right play early to get that hammer. Ironically, kind of came all the way around at the very end and ended up being the difference, kind of in the way you wouldn't expect. But that's exactly what happens in rando sometimes. So
Yeah. Well, we got one more game, so we've got an exciting decider match coming up.
yeah, any thoughts on settings changes, JD, for the last one? Or are you just gonna make it a full-on best of 3 of 7-7?
Oh, I have to figure out. Oh yeah, I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. Let's see. I've played loads of opens and I've done one MC shuffle. So I don't know. I might pick something else just for a bit of variety, but I don't know what. I'll have to have a think. Keep you in suspense.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Unless you guys have any burning things you want to get off your chest.
I just thanks so much for commentating, guys, and
Thanks for the work.
GG to Nito.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. Thanks so much for co-commenting, Anthony.
Yeah, it was great, Ari. Just hopefully we'll hopefully we'll see Boots next time. It's a little bit more exciting, a little more to talk about with Boots.
Yeah, that's for sure. But yeah, thanks so much for the exciting race, and good luck on the third one. Maybe just as good.
Oh no, yeah! Big shout outs to our tracker, Link Force, by the way. Calling me out in chat for being a forgetful. See, this is the trackers are great because they remind us of all the stuff we miss, including thanking them. So thank you very much, Link Force, for tracking. Excellent job. And follow our trackers, follow our runners, follow Airy if you want to see some hot gameplay. Follow me if you want to see bad gameplay. But I think that's it for us. I'm not a good commentator, so I don't know what's coming up next.
Oh, that's a good point.
But I know there's a bunch more coming up on the random schedule for today.
Combat versus I'm the Schwartz is coming right up at Speed Gaming Free, and then in half an hour there's GFE versus Citronep at Speed Game at this channel right here, which is a game free as well. So that will be a decider for probably a winner's matchup, but I'm not exactly sure.
I think that's actually I think GFE was complaining about getting some bad luck. I think that's actually a loser's bracket.
Well, then support them in order to make sure that they don't go back home, and apparently it says winner go back to enjoying rando. So you might be right. So anyway, thank you guys so much for listening to us ramble a little bit, and enjoy all the other matches that are coming up.